Hello everyone. Welcome to BioWise with Achal. Today we'll be talking about the important questions for ICSE Biology board examination scheduled on Monday, that is 24th of March. Now let us quickly dive into the topic without wasting time because time is very crucial. Chapter 1, the cell. This chapter is only for the revision purpose, and the topics included in this chapter will be repeated in the chapters which are coming ahead. Like diagram of chloroplast is there in the chapter photosynthesis, nucleus, chromatin fibers, all these things are present in chapter 2. So we'll be going in the details. You know that the chloroplast diagram, for diagram you have a specific video. You can see the video there to learn all the important diagrams for your examination. Nucleus structure and function. You know that nucleus is a very important organelle of an eukaryotic cells. The structure, it has a double layer membrane, and inside the nucleus there is chromatin fibers present. You can say that nucleus is generally important for cell division as well as carrying the genetic material. Chromatin fibers are present in the nucleus, organelle responsible for cell division. Now, please write in the comment section if you know the answer. Which organelle is responsible for cell division? Cell wall and cell membrane, the difference between them on the basis of the permeability. Cell wall is the outermost membrane of the plant cell, and cell membrane is present in both plant and animal cells. Right? So, cell membrane is the outermost in the animal cell, but it is also present in the plant cell after the cell wall. Now, based on the permeability, if you have to differentiate between them, cell wall is freely permeable and cell membrane is semi-permeable or selectively permeable. So, when we study about plasmolysis, you know that in plasmolysis, you have the cell wall and the cell membrane shrinks in the inside when the cell is placed in hypertonic solution. So water loses and all. So whatever is the hypertonic solution, that solution is present in the gap between the cell wall and the cell membrane, and this explains the freely permeable nature of the cell wall. Moving to the next chapter, that is structure of chromosome, cell cycle and cell division. In this chapter, the phases of mitosis plays a very important role. PMAT, that is prophase, metaphase, anaphase and telophase. You need to see the diagram and identify the phase. Depending upon the nucleus or the chromosomes or the arrangement of chromosomes in the cell, you can easily identify which phase of mitosis is going on. The question can be included that which phase precedes the phase given or which phase follows the phase given. If the question is precede, like for example, if I take anaphase, metaphase precedes anaphase and telophase you can say follows anaphase. Understood? So MCQ, identify the phase or draw the diagram. All these three types of questions can be asked on this topic. Stages of cell division, identification and justification. Why you identify the given phase as prophase, metaphase, anaphase, telophase can be asked in the examination. Like for prophase, you can say that the chromosomes are becoming thick, the nuclear membrane starts to disappear, spindle formation begins, the centrioles move to the opposite pole. These are the identifications for prophase. For metaphase, you can say that the chromosomes are arranged in the equatorial plate. For anaphase, the chromosome starts moving away. Telophase, the nuclear membrane reappears. There is a furrow formation beginning happening in between the cells, which is followed by cytokinesis, that is the division of the cytoplasm into two daughter cells. The difference between mitosis and meiosis can be asked. Remember, whenever there is a difference asked in the examination, you need to write the answer in the T table format. Okay, it becomes easy for the examiner to check your answers. Now, in mitosis, if you see, this is mitosis and this is meiosis. For mitosis, the number of daughter cells formed is two daughter cells and they are diploid daughter cells. For meiosis, there are 4 daughter cells and they are haploid daughter cells. What is the significance of mitosis and meiosis? Mitosis is important for GR. I hope you remember this. GR. What is GR? Growth, repair, replacement, reproduction. And what is the significance of meiosis? It is the formation of gametes, which is called gametogenesis. Interphase cell cycle, the largest phase of cell cycle is the interphase, which is made up of 3 different phases: G1, that is growth 1, S, synthesis, G2, that is the growth 2 phase. Now in that, what happens in the G1 phase? The necessary proteins and mRNA required for the DNA synthesis, which happens in the S phase, takes place. In S phase, this is very, very, very important. In S phase, what happens? DNA synthesis happens. This question has been asked several times, that what happens in S phase? The DNA synthesis happens in which stage? So S, DNA synthesis. In G2, you have the proteins and the mRNA produced for the mitotic division. These events has to be known in order. Arranged in logical sequence can also be asked on this topic. Nitrogenous bases. What are the nitrogenous bases? The A, T, G, C. In case of RNA, in spite of T, there is U. Bonding, there is 2 bonds present between A and T, that is 2 hydrogen bond. So A double bond T and G triple bond C. So this triple and double is what? Hydrogen bonds. DNA and RNA, there is a difference based on the basis of nitrogenous bases. DNA contains ATGC. Do not write only thymine. Write ATGC. And RNA contains AUGC. Generally, what happens when a difference is asked between DNA and RNA on the basis of nitrogenous bases, children write thymine for DNA and uracil for RNA. But AGC is present in both, so that has to be mentioned. Base pairing I have already talked about. There is A always base pairs with T and G always base pairs on C. A small numerical can be asked on this base pairing, where you have to know that the number of A is equal to T and the number of G is equal to C. Odd one out, like you have say adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, then you can have cytokinin, plant hormone, or anything sounding the same can be asked. So you have to be very specific. There are only 4 nitrogenous bases, that is adenine, thymine, guanine, cytosine, that in case of DNA, and the thymine is replaced by uracil in case of RNA. Chromatid, chromatin, what is the difference? Chromatin is a thin fiber-like structure which is present in the nucleus in the general stage, that is without the cell division. And what is chromatid? Chromatid is this. So when the half of this is a chromatid, the 2 wings will be called sister chromatid. Chromosome, the entire structure is called the chromosome. Centromere is the dot which joins the 2 chromatids, is the centromere. What is haploid and what is diploid? Haploid is a half set of chromosomes. It is represented by N, and diploid is the complete set of chromosomes, that is represented as 2N. Now, what is the chromosome number present in the human beings? It is 46, or you can say 23 pairs. Children, if you are writing this, write in this 2 ways only. 23 pairs, 2N. So, value of N for human being is 23 and 2N is equal to 46. I hope you remember this. Then what is a nucleotide? Nucleotide is the sequence, is a unit of DNA. How it is formed? It is phosphate, the sugar and the nitrogenous base. Sugar in DNA is deoxyribose sugar. Nitrogenous base I have already discussed, and the phosphate group. What is a gene? Gene is a specific sequence of nucleotides coding for certain proteins. Nucleosome model was given to explain the packing of DNA in the chromosomes. Generally what happens, there is a protein called histone, and the DNA goes and winds around the histone molecule, forming a kind of rod-like structure where 8 histones are involved, on which the DNA is properly wounded around. That makes one nucleosome. Then each nucleosome is fitted like a rod or a solenoid in the chromosomes. DNA is the basic unit of inheritance. Chiasma formation or crossing over a synapsis. Now, synapsis is, you know, that we inherit chromosomes from our parents. So, one we inherit from our mother. Let me change the color. And one we inherit from the father. Right? So, these are the homologous chromosomes, and this red and blue is the you can say these are the non-sister chromatids. The synapsis means these two coming closer to each other for the crossing over. And then what happens? Let me get back. Yeah. So what happens? These two cross each other and they tend to exchange some segments from each other. This X-shaped structure which is formed during the synapses is called chiasma, and the process of exchange that is happening to form the recombinant chromosome is called crossing over. I hope it's clear. Moving to the next chapter, that is genetics. Gregor Johann Mendel, father of genetics. Pisum sativum, pea plant. The scientific name of pea plant is asked in the exam. When you are writing a scientific name, remember that the first letter has to be capital and the second one of the second word, that is the first letter of the second word, has to be lowercase. And if you are handwriting it, you need to underline the words. I have written in italics because it's a printed form. But when you are handwriting the scientific name, it has to be underlined. The law of inheritance, law of dominance, law of segregation, and law of independent assortment state the law of dominance, segregation, independent assortment in the comment box. Let me see if you could write it properly or not. This is 100% asked in the examination. Monohybrid cross, that is the monohybrid F1 explains the law of dominance. Okay, it expresses the law of dominance. Monohybrid ka F2 explains the law of segregation, and that is dihybrid cross explains independent assortment. Then genotypic and phenotypic ratio. Phenotypic ratio for the monohybrid, that is in the F2 generation, the monohybrid ka phenotypic ratio is 3:1 and the genotypic ratio is 1:2:1. For the genotypic and the phenotypic ratio of the dihybrid cross, the phenotypic ratio is 9:3:3:1 and the genotypic ratio is very complex, but if you can remember 1:2:1, then double it, that is 2:4:2, and then again write the single one, 1:2:1. This is very complex, so generally not asked in the exam, but if you know, it's better. So what is a genotype? Genotype is a genetic composition of an organism, and phenotype is the physical appearance of an organism. Allosomes are the sex chromosomes and autosomes are the somatic chromosomes. Autosomes are present in both male and female, and allosomes are present in, like for example, if you talk about the male contains 44 autosomes and XY allosomes, and female contains 44 autosomes and XX allosomes. So what is haploid and diploid? Haploid is N, diploid is 2N. If you see here, haploid is a gamete. So male gamete, okay, I'll just, male gamete, if you say, male gamete will be what? 22 plus X or 22 plus Y. Similarly, this is your male gametes. And female gamete, if you see, it is 22 plus X. So based on the fusion, 22 plus X and 22 plus X combines to form 44 plus XX. That means a daughter is born. When 22 plus X combines with 22 plus Y, you can see son is born. So who determines the gender of the child? It is the father who determines the gender of the child. Next, dominant versus recessive allele. The allele which expresses itself in any condition, that is homozygous or heterozygous, is supposed to be the dominant allele. Recessive allele can express itself only in a homozygous condition. Punnett square for gametes. Punnett square for gametes, you see that what are the different characters given to you. You have to make the, for example, if you say color of the seed and the shape of the seed, yellow and round. So your possible gametes can be written in the Punnett square. Is that clear? I hope it's easy. Homologous chromosomes, I've already discussed. The chromosomes which are of same shape, size, structure, inherited from either of the parents, is called the homologous chromosomes. Homozygous is the same alleles present, whether it is dominant or recessive, it is homozygous. Heterozygous is one dominant, one recessive. Mutation is sudden change. Variation is because of the synapses. There is variation, that is difference that you observe among yourself. Genotype is a genetic composition. Phenotype is a physical appearance. Sex linked inheritance, you remember we have to write XH for hemophilia, XC for color blindness, or you can just write X naught. Don't write capital letter and small letter for X linked inheritance. You have to write with X because here X is a chromosome which has got a faulty gene or allele. So you have to write accordingly. Please refer to the video which is already being uploaded on basic biology for more details. Link is given in the description. Now next one is X-linked hemophilia, color blindness. We have already understood. They can ask you the offsprings, the possible offspring for certain process, like a hemophilic father. A hemophilic man marries a normal female, then what would be the possible offsprings? Sex determination, it is the father who is responsible. There are two types of sperm which is being produced, 22 plus X or 22 plus Y, depending upon which fuses with the egg, which is 22 plus X, the gender of the child is decided. So during the gamete formation only, that is which chromosome will go into the gamete, and finally which gamete will fuse to form zygote. Now in the zygote formation, that is one cell only, the gender is decided. Chapter 4, that is absorption by roots. Imbibition, diffusion, osmosis, active transport. Definition is must. Turgor pressure and wall pressure. If you see a cell, a plant cell, if you see a plant cell, it has got a cell wall, right? So because of the intake of water, the cell becomes fully turgid. So it applies pressure on the cell wall. This is called turgor pressure. At the same time, it is the, what to say, the wall which exerts pressure on the inner content. That is called the wall pressure. So in a fully turgid cell, the turgor pressure is equal to wall pressure. Is this clear? Next one is your root pressure. Root pressure is because of the osmosis or intake of water, there is a kind of pressure which is being produced in the root that helps in the absorption of water till certain levels, say 2 meters of height. Beyond that, because of the gravity, the root pressure does not function. What is osmotic pressure? Osmotic pressure is the minimum pressure required to stop the process of osmosis. That is called the osmotic pressure. Root hair diagram and the cross section can be asked in the examination. Please practice the diagram. The diagram video is already being uploaded, and even in the plant physiology, the process is described. Endoosmosis, exoosmosis, and plasmolysis. Endoosmosis happens when the cell is placed in the hypotonic solution. Exoosmosis happens when the cell is placed in the hypertonic solution, because water always moves from dilute to the concentrated, that is from the hypo to the hyper. Plasmolysis is a condition of the cell when the cell membrane shrinks away from the cell wall. So when a cell is placed in a hypertonic solution, water from the cell is lost. So all the cell membrane shrinks towards the center, creating a condition called plasmolyzed cell. Now this is only the reason for excessive fertilizer use. What happens then, if you just sprinkle salt in your lawn, the grasses will die. So this we are going to give in application based question. The question can come in the examination. Iso and hyper. Hypotonic means less concentrated, that is dilute solution. Isotonic as compared to your cell, children. If I am saying less concentrated, more concentrated, is always a comparative study. So the cell has to be more concentrated and the surrounding is less concentrated. That means the surrounding is hypotonic. Isotonic means same concentration, and hypertonic like 5% of salt solution, 10% of sugar solution. This is called the hypertonic solution. Cell wall, cell membrane permeability we have already discussed. Experiments of osmosis. You remember the experiment where you have thistle funnel being kept with the mouth closed with the semi-permeable, that is the cellophane paper, right? So that acts as a semi-permeable membrane and it is filled with sugar solution. So what will happen to the level of water? So obviously it's a concentrated solution, so water will move inside and the level of water will increase. Conduction of water through xylem using eosin dye. You can see that when the plant twig is placed in eosin dye, it's only the xylem which gets pigmented, showing that xylem helps in the conduction of water. Girdling experiment, that is for phloem. If you cut the outer portion of the plant, you realize that the phloem is being removed, and when the food comes towards the root, there is a swelling seen in the plant. So girdling experiment shows that phloem is required for the translocation of food. So please remember xylem and phloem function. Xylem is conduction of water and phloem is translocation of food. Next chapter is transpiration. In transpiration, we study generally about transpiration, guttation, and bleeding. Transpiration is the process of loss of water in the form of water vapor from the aerial parts of the plant, basically from the stomata or the lenticels. Guttation is loss of water in the form of water droplets from the margin of the leaves, that is hydatodes, and bleeding is generally from the injury. Now there are experiments in your chapter like bell jar experiment where droplets of water is condensed on the bell jar showing that the plant loses water. Genong's potometer, that is for the uptake of water which is directly proportional to the rate of transpiration. Then cobalt chloride paper. There is no much paper as you have got in your chemistry examination. There is only one, that is cobalt chloride paper, which you have to remember. It is blue when dry, that is blue when dry and pink when there is water. The pink cobalt chloride shows the presence of water and hence proves that transpiration has taken place. If you put the cobalt chloride paper on leaf on both the sides, it is on the lower side which will get pink faster, showing that the concentration of stomata is more on the lower epidermis of the leaf. In exam, location of stomata, lenticels, hydrathodes can be asked. The stomata is located on the epidermal surface of the leaf. Lenticels are present on the older stems. Hydrathodes are present on the margin of the leaves. Is that clear? Factors affecting transpiration. It is same as evaporation. More humidity, less transpiration. Intensity of sunlight is high. Rate of transpiration is high. Increase in temperature increases the rate of transpiration. Velocity, more transpiration. CO2 concentration 0.03% तक increase in carbon dioxide concentration increases the transpiration, but later on the stomata closes and the rate of transpiration drops. Increase in atmospheric pressure also decreases the rate of transpiration. It is humidity and the atmospheric pressure which shows inverse relationships with transpiration. Rest all shows the direct relationship, that is increase in humidity decreases transpiration, increase in atmospheric pressure decreases transpiration, but rest, when they increase the rate of transpiration. What is the significance of transpiration? Cooling effect, ascent of sap, that is transpiration. Advantages, disadvantages, you need to know at least 2 points each. Adaptation, the leaf tends to coil itself if enough water is not there. That is a kind of, even narrow leaves, or you can say needle-like leaves are present to reduce the transpirational loss, sunken stomata. So these all help in reducing the transpiration to reduce the loss of water. In simple terms, children, if you know that if say 100 liters of water is taken up by the plant, 99 liter is being given out by transpiration and it is only one which is being utilized. Now transpiration is a necessary evil. How you have to prove? If a statement is given in which there are two terms which has to be explained, marks will also be 2 and you'll be awarded 2 only when you explain why transpiration is an evil and why transpiration is necessary. So transpiration is necessary to keep the plant cool and also helps in the ascent of sap, and it is an evil because of transpiration most of the plants need to be watered, otherwise they will wilt and die. So why transpiration is a necessary evil? Justification can be asked in the examination. Next chapter is photosynthesis. In photosynthesis, you have the structure of chloroplast. Kindly be very thorough with the structure of chloroplast. It can be asked to draw the thylakoids, the stroma, the frets, then the outer layer and the inner layer. Chemical equation of photosynthesis. The chemical equation of photosynthesis can be asked in the exam. 6 molecules of carbon dioxide reacts with 12 molecules of water in the presence of chlorophyll and sunlight to give you C6H12O6, that is glucose, plus 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water. So if you write the chlorophyll and sunlight, then only you will get marks. So the reactants plus chlorophyll and sunlight is 1 mark, and the chlorophyll, sunlight and the product is again for 1 mark. What is the role of methylated spirit? It is used to what? Dissolve the chlorophyll. Ethanol, kill the cells and remove the chlorophyll. Iodine, starch test. So iodine, if a starch test question comes in your examination, you have to write 3 things. First, talk about starch, talk about photosynthesis, and talk about the iodine test. These 3 points has to be included. Now for suppose variegated leaf, for the portion which is green in color, starch is present because photosynthesis has taken place because of the presence of chlorophyll. So the iodine will turn the leaf blue black. This is your complete answer. Similarly, where there was no chlorophyll, there is no starch present because there was no photosynthesis due to absence of chlorophyll, and the iodine remains brown in color. That is, gives negative starch test. So kindly write all the 3 aspects. Abbreviations: NADP, ATP and NADPH, nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide phosphate, adenosine triphosphate, nicotinamide, adenine dinucleotide phosphate hydrogen, or reduce NADP. Xylem and phloem function is clear. Conduction of water, that is xylem, and translocation of food, that is phloem. Light versus dark reaction. Sight, light reaction happens in the thylakoids, dark reaction happens in the stroma of the chloroplast. End product, if you see, light reaction, the end product is oxygen, ATP, NADPH and electrons, and end product of dark reaction is glucose, right? Glucose, and again the ADP and NADP will be produced back, but you write glucose. Photolysis. Photolysis is what? Breakdown of water. H2O breaks down into, that is 2 molecules of H2O will break down into 4 hydrogen ions plus 4 electrons plus oxygen. So this oxygen gas is given out, and this Na4H plus is used for reduction of NADP. 4 electrons are used for that is photophosphorylation. Photophosphorylation is a process of ATP synthesis. Phosphorylation means ATP synthesis. How is ATP formed? ATP is formed by ADP plus Pi. So ADP plus Pi plus electron will give you ATP. This is phosphorylation. And if it happens in the presence of light, it is photophosphorylation. Experiments on photosynthesis. Destarching. Any plant which has to be taken for the experiment on photosynthesis needs to be destarched first. How you destarch? You keep the plant in dark for around 24 to 48 hours. What is variegated leaves? Variegated leaves are the leaves in which you have patches of green and uh, white patches or yellow patches present. So chlorophyll is present and chlorophyll is absent. Photosynthesis is the basis of life. How you prove that? Because photosynthesis makes the producers synthesize food, and all the producers are the origin of the food chain. So photosynthesis is the basis of life. Next chapter is chemical coordination in plants. The ABA, that is abscisic acid, indole 3 acetic acid is important. Function of auxin, cytokinin, ethylene, even gibberellin is also there. Gibberellins, but gibberellin was generally not asked. It can be asked, children, this time, because gibberellin was not asked till now. So gibberellin can be included, ABA can be included in the 2025 examinations. Parthenocarpy, that is false fruit without fertilization. If a fruit develops, that is called parthenocarpy. They will not have seeds. So seedless grapes, watermelon can be a good example of parthenocarpy. Tropic movements, tropic movements, chemotropism, phototropism, and thigmotropism. They have been asked in the last 3 years, 4 years. The geotropism and hydrotropism can be included in 2025 examinations. So these are important. Gibberellin is important, ethylene is important, ABA is important. So kindly go through this carefully. Clinostat, generally clinostat is a device which is used to study geotropism. You remember there is a motor on which the plant is fit into and it keeps on rotating. So the plant grows straight. So that explains geotropism, even avoids phototropism. So positive geotropism, what is negative geotropism, which is more powerful, hydrotropism or geotropism? So it is hydrotropism which is more powerful. So if you give an option to the seed, it will look for water first and then the gravity. Next chapter, circulatory system. The detail of this video is already uploaded. Kindly go through it. I am just covering the important topics that could be asked in your examinations. What is phagocytosis? Cell eating. Diapedesis, oozing out of WBC at the site of infection. Different types of blood vessels. The blood smear can be given to you, and the cells with the different, this is neutrophil. Then you have monocytes, lymphocytes, other eosinophil, basophils. They can be asked in the examination. Diagram, heart diagram can be given. Structure can be asked not to draw but to label. Then function of different valves present in the heart. Then location, what is pericardium? The membrane surrounding the heart which is filled with a fluid called pericardial fluid. How you identify whether the diagram is in ventricular diastole condition or systole condition. In diastole, that is when your heart is expanding, AV valve, that is atrioventricular valve, is open and the semilunar valve is closed. In ventricular systole, AV valve is closed and the semilunar is open. Then which ions are responsible, which is present in hemoglobin? It is iron. What is required for blood clotting? It is calcium. Which vitamin is important for blood clotting? That is vitamin K. Moving to the next slides. Platelets. Platelets play a very important role in blood clotting, because when you get hurt, generally more and more platelets rush to the injured site. Platelets, along with the injured tissue, releases a enzyme called thromboplastin, which converts prothrombin to thrombin in the presence of calcium ions and vitamin K. This thrombin converts fibrinogen to fibrin. Fibrin forms a mesh-like structure on the wound and traps the platelets and the cells and prepares a clot. What is systole? Contraction of the heart. Diastole, relaxation of the heart. Hepatic portal system. Portal system is the blood vessel which is connecting the stomach or the intestine to the liver, bringing lots of nutrients to the liver. And at the same time, liver takes the account. You know that liver is the clerk of your body. It keeps an account of all the data that comes to the digestive system. Which blood vessels supply blood to the heart? That is artery. Coronary vein takes the deoxygenated blood from the heart and sends it to the heart itself. Pulse rate, that is the throbbing of the radial artery of the wrist, you can calculate the pulse. For every time there is the closure of the valve, there is a kind of wave which appears in your blood, which can be felt on the radial artery of your wrist or of your neck region. That is the pulse rate. Then what is HbO2? That is oxyhemoglobin. Carbox, that is HB, carbon monoxide के साथ it forms carboxyhemoglobin, and with carbon dioxide it forms carbaminohemoglobin. So you need to know this is fatal. Okay, this is fatal because it forms a irreversible complex. Now next is double circulation. What is double circulation? Now you know that you have a heart. I think everybody is aware you have a heart. Yes, so it is right auricle, right ventricle, left auricle, and left ventricle. Then you have your lungs and you have your body. Correct? Now let us see the. I'll take the different color. Let me take blue. Yes. So now what happens? The deoxygenated blood from the body goes to the right auricle. From there it goes to the ventricle, and from there it goes to the lungs for the oxygenation process. After the oxygenation has taken place, the blood moves from the lungs to the left auricle, to the left ventricle, and then again to the body. So the circulation of the body between the lungs and the heart is called the pulmonary circulation, and the circulation between the heart and the body is called systemic circulation. Now location of the valves present. The valve present between the right auricle and the right ventricle is the tricuspid valve. The valve present between the left auricle and left ventricle is the bicuspid valve. The other name for the bicuspid valve is the mitral valve. Similarly, there is a semilunar valve present. The pulmonary semilunar valve is present between the right ventricle and the pulmonary artery, that is here, and the aortic semilunar valve is present between the left ventricle and the aorta. This is clear, right? Next one is the lub-dub sound that is produced when the heart beats. Lub sound is produced during the closure of the AV valve during the ventricular systole. And when there is a diastole, that time the closure of the semilunar valves produces a sound called dub sound. Chordae tendineae are the fiber which is present, which hold the valves, that is the cusp of the tricuspid, the fiber which hold the cusp of the valves to the ventricular wall by the papillary muscles is the chordae tendineae. Artery, veins and capillaries, diagram structural difference. Remember children, when structural difference is asked, talk about the lumen size, the wall thickness, and when function is asked, talk about the carrying capacity, this oxygenated blood is carried or the deoxygenated blood is carried. Is that clear? So be very specific. Structure means how it is made up of. That is tunica externa, tunica media, tunica interna, and the lumen. And functional, that is deoxygenated blood and oxygenated blood. Even presence of valve and absence of valve is a structural difference. Please write in the comment section which of these blood vessels contain valves: artery, veins or capillaries. Next chapter, excretory system. The location of these things are important. Loop of Henle, PCT, the Bowman's capsule, glomerulus, DCT. These are all part of the nephrons. If you remember your kidney, you know that there is a renal capsule, renal cortex, and followed by the medulla region, right? So the Bowman's capsule, the PCT, the DCT is present in the cortex, and the loop of Henle is present in the renal medulla. Excretion is removal of the nitrogenous waste. Nitrogenous waste can be urea, ammonia, or uric acid. Urochrome is the pigment present in the urine which gives it a pale yellow coloration. Organic component of urine is urea, uric acid, creatinine. Inorganic component is KCl, that is potassium chloride, sodium chloride. These are the organic components. By heart it can be asked in the examination. ADH, antidiuretic hormone. Please write the other name of ADH in the comment section. Osmoregulation, that is maintaining the concentration of the blood, the water content and the composition of the blood to be maintained, that is a function of kidney, which is osmoregulation. The diagram which can be asked is the Malpighian capsule, kidney, that is the transverse section, and the entire excretory system where you have to draw the kidney, the ureter and the urinary bladder. So when you are drawing the diagram, please keep in mind the right kidney is slightly lower than the left kidney. Steps of urine formation: ultrafiltration, reabsorption, secretion and excretion. Renal cortex is dotted because of the presence of Bowman's capsule, and renal medulla is striped because of the presence of collecting tube and the loop of Henle. Ultrafiltration is possible because of the difference in the diameter. You remember the Malpighian capsule. Malpighian capsule, you have the afferent and the efferent artery, right? So the efferent exit wala, that is less in diameter as compared to the afferent. So this creates a kind of pressure, that is ultrafiltration. Next we talk about the diseases. In diseases, generally the blood is filtered out in the Bowman's capsule. So by any chance, if the required material starts getting into the Bowman's capsule, it may lead to diseases like hematuria, where blood is being passed out in the urine, albuminuria, that is albumin protein is sent into the urine. Then you have glucoseuria, that is glucose is sent in the urine. So these are the elements of kidney. At the same time, there is kidney stones because of calcium oxalate, uric acid crystals deposited in the joints that leads to arthritis, and gout. This can be asked in the exam. Gout. So a case based question on these topics can be asked in the exam, that a person is suffering of constant pain in the knee, so suffering from gout, so what would be the probable reason. So case based question can be asked from this chapter, as well as direct application and knowledge based question can also be asked, where you have to learn few things, right? Next chapter is the nervous system. In nervous system, parts of the brain, function of the brain. So directly asking about the brain and the function, questions can be little twisted. Situation can be given to you and asked that which part of the brain is used. Like person X is writing an essay, which part of the brain is used. Playing badminton, which part of the brain is used. Then crossing the street, what is used. So be prepared for that type of questions. Then you have reflex action, that is sensory neuron to the association neuron in the CNS and then the motor neuron. That reflex action is immediate involuntary reaction, right? That happens, that the immediate involuntary word is very important. Then what is a neuron? Draw the diagram of neuron. Synapse is the junction of the two neurons, and synapses we have already studied in crossing over. So these two words look similar, can be asked. Neuron and nephron definition can be asked. Arrangement of cyton and axon. You remember Chhattisgarh? Yeah, Chhattisgarh is what? That is, cyton is grey matter. Your brain is a coconut. Dark outside, white inside. So grey outside, white inside is your brain. Grey means cyton outside and axon inside. Spinal cord, the arrangement is opposite. What are meninges? The three layers, that is dura mater, arachnoid and pia mater. They are filled with a fluid called CSF, cerebrospinal fluid. Corpus callosum is a hard substance present between the two hemispheres, which connects your two hemisphere of the brain, the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere. Corpus luteum is another similar sounding word. Corpus luteum is in the reproductive system chapter, that is in the female reproductive system. After the release of the egg from the Graafian follicle, it forms a yellow mass which helps in the synthesis of progesterone, which is required for maintaining pregnancy. So understand the difference. Name the neurotransmitter, it's acetylcholine. Cranial versus spinal nerves. There are 12 pairs of cranial nerves and 31 pairs of the spinal nerves. Origin: cranial nerves originate from the brain and spinal nerves originate from the spinal cord. Sympathetic nervous system for stress, parasympathetic to cool down your system. So in that case, heartbeat increases, respiratory rate increases. So you have to be, you can different set of reactions can be given, and you have to classify them in sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Examples of sensory motor and mixed nerves can be asked. You have to write that in the examination. Please write in the comment section if you know the examples for the sensory motor and the mixed nerves. The next chapter is sense organ. I have taken ear first. Ear is very important. So ear ossicles, malleus incus steps, smallest bone is the steps, membranous labyrinth is the inner ear. Diagram can be asked in the examination. I hope you remember the diagram similar to this. Please see the diagram section. The diagram is given, and even the sense organ video is uploaded. Organ of Coti is the sensory cells for hearing. For vision, it is rods and the cones. For hearing, it is organ of Coti. Static balance is for utriculus and sacculus. Dynamic balance is for the ampulla of semicircular canal. Semicircular canal is the key word for the dynamic balance. Then fluid present in the static balance was asked earlier. Dynamic balance can be asked in your examination. Fluid present in the ear is perilymph and endolymph. Both name has to be written for 1 mark. Round window connects the middle ear to the inner ear. There is a thin membrane present in the round window. It connects the middle ear to the inner ear. Eustachian tube. Middle ear is connected to the throat by Eustachian tube, and it equalizes the air pressure on the either side of the eardrum. Example of traveling to a hilly area or even traveling in an aeroplane can be asked here. Next, about the eye. Structure of the eye, label the different parts, arrange in order. MCQ can be asked. Location of different components of the eye, the like aqueous humor, vitreous humor, lens, suspensory ligaments, ciliary muscles. These sensory ligaments and the ciliary muscles helps in the accommodation of the lenses. Then lacrimal gland on the side of your eye, on the upper eye, that is on the eyelids, it is present, releases tears, right? Adaptation, that is dark and light adaptation. 2 marks questions are asked. So here first you have to talk about rods getting bleached in the sun or in the bright light, and the pupil dilates. So about the rods and the cones, first you answer rods and the cones, and then you answer about the pupil dilation and constriction. So it will help you to get your 2 marks very easily. Okay, now children, in your examination, generally the questions are asked for marks, that is 2 marks, 3 marks. See to it that for every 1 mark there is a keyword. So you have to write accordingly, right? Accommodation of eye, that is for near vision, the lens becomes round and stout. For far vision, the lens becomes elongated. Eye defects, myopia. Myopia is nearsightedness, that is you can see the object which is closer, but the object which is far is not seen clearly. Hyperopia or hypermetropia is the disease called farsightedness. You can see the farther objects clearly, but the nearer objects are not visible. Reading books and all is a problem. Astigmatism, that is you have different diameters of the cornea present. So many lines are, the images are formed on the retina, in front of the retina, and also beyond the retina. So few things do not appear clear to the eye. Cataract is the lens becomes opaque because in the old age. Presbyopia is because of the loosening of the ciliary muscles and the suspensory ligaments, so the lens cannot focus on the objects. Yellow spot is for maximum vision. Macula lutea is the name. Blind spot is where the optical nerves originate, so no image is formed on the blind spot, so you do not see anything at the blind spot. Chapter 12, that is endocrine system. Difference between endocrine and exocrine is asked. Glands, hypo and hyper secretion impact is asked. Abbreviations are asked. The different hormones like TSH, GH, LH, FSH, these questions can be asked in the examination. Thyroid glands release a hormone called thyroxine. Iodine is important for the formation of thyroxine. Now hyposecretion, that is hyposecretion of thyroxine, leads to cretinism in children. Cretinism in children. C for cretinism, C for children. So children don't get confused. Myxedema and cretinism both are for hyposecretion. C for cretinism for children, and myxedema is in adult. Myxedema, that is max, that is for the adults. So myxedema is for adults and cretinism is for children. And it also leads to goiter. Generally, hyposecretion also leads to goiter where the thyroid gland enlarges itself. When there is hypersecretion, that leads to exophthalmic goiter, that is eyes protruding out. Now next is the pituitary hormone, pituitary gland. So there are two lobes of pituitary, as you know, the anterior lobe of pituitary and the posterior lobe of pituitary. The hormones released by the anterior pituitary is the growth hormone, prolactin, thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone. These are all released, even follicle stimulating hormone, luteinizing hormone. So these are all released by the anterior pituitary. And the posterior pituitary has only two, that is ADH, which is also called vasopressin, and oxytocin. Oxytocin. So these are the hormones released by the pituitary. Now when the growth hormone, you talk about the growth hormone, the hyposecretion of growth hormone leads to dwarfism, and the excess of growth hormone in children causes gigantism, and it also causes acromegaly in adults. So name of the diseases is must children, right? Hormones and the tropic hormones. What are tropic hormones? The hormones which go and you can say trigger the release of hormones from the other glands is the tropic hormone. So in this you have thyroid stimulating hormone, adrenocorticotropic hormone, follicle stimulating hormone, and ADH as the tropic hormones. Coming to pancreas, pancreas is a dual gland, is an exoendocrine gland. So any question can be asked on pancreas. Pancreas is really very important. It has got islets of Langerhans, which is the endocrine cells of the pancreas. In 9th standard, we have studied about ducts of Echinus, that is the exocrine responsible for digestive system. I am not going in that detail. But alpha cells releases glucagon, beta releases insulin, delta is not in your syllabus, but it releases somatostatin. Adrenal virilism, the adrenal cortex. Okay, adrenal cortex releases a hormone called cortisones. Okay, when there is too much of cortisones released, that is androgens released in the females, the female develop the male deep voice and even mustache and the beard. This is called adrenal virilism. Virilism means basically that is maleness. So adrenal virilism is seen in females. Stress hormone in the human body, that is adrenaline. It is also called the 3F hormone, the fight, flight, and fright hormone. The other name is epinephrine. In plants, the stress hormone is abscisic acid. Coming to the next chapter, that is the reproductive system. The diagram based question can be asked on both the systems, male and the female reproductive system. Ovulation, diagram can be asked. Embryonic development, the diagram can be asked where placenta, umbilical cord, embryo, the amnion, the amniotic fluid can be asked to label. Corpus luteum releases, it's a yellow color thing, releases progesterone which helps in maintaining pregnancy. Then what are the corresponding parts in the male and the female systems? You need to understand, because that ratio question can be asked on this, right? Parts of the systems, that is secretions and their roles, the male reproductive system, the female reproductive system. Then in male reproductive system you have prostate gland, you have seminiferous tubules, you have interstitial cells, you have the corpus gland, right? So what are their secretions, what are their roles? There is a detailed video on reproductive system, you can go through the same. Amniotic fluid, placenta, umbilical cord, what are their roles and function, what is the role of placenta, right? Then diagram of human sperm and ovum can be asked. What is gestation? Gestation is the period of development of fetus from the zygote stage to the full term fetus, that is gestation, that is around 280 days. And pregnancy is the condition of the female who carries the baby in her womb. Implantation, fertilization, twins, monozygotic and dizygotic, it's very important for you, go through the same. menarche, initiation of the menstrual cycle, menopause, that is stoppage of the menstrual cycle and the different phases, fall, that is the menstrual phase, the follicular phase, the ovulatory phase, and the luteal phase. Go through it in detail. Okay, the video is already uploaded, children. The link of that video is also there in the description, so go through the same. That is all about your reproductive system. Human evolution. Evolution, Lamarck and Darwin theory, difference is very important. So Lamarck gave the law of what was the use disuse theory. Use disuse theory matlab if you need something it will persist, if you don't need it will not, it will not be there. And Darwin theory was theory of natural selection, where Lamarck talked about arrival of the fittest, Darwin said survival of the fittest. Then your our ancestors, there is an order of the ancestors that you need to remember. I give you a very nice sentence, that is Ram's amazing horse Erectus never comes second. In this case, you see Ram, that is Ramapithecus, amazing Australopithecus, horse Homo habilis, Erectus Homo erectus, never Neanderthal man, comes Cro-Magnon man, and Homo sapiens, that is second. If you remember, anyway, you can make your own sentences. This is the easy one which I could make. You can write that. Biston Betullaria, another scientific name that can be asked in the examination. You can write, underline, first letter of the, that is first alphabet of the first word should be capital, the first alphabet of the second word should be small, and they should be underlined. It is a scientific name of peppered moth. Here also I have written all the names in italics. Homo sapiens, Homo habilis, Homo erectus, they are all scientific names, so it should be written accordingly. Cranial capacity of these your ancestors should be known. You should know that Cro-Magnon had little bit more cranial capacity as compared to the modern man. That was around 1600 cc, and we have only 1450 cc. This is really important for us to understand, right? So Lamarck and Darwin theory, industrial melanism is important. Industrial melanism is natural selection. Question can be asked that how natural selection can be explained by industrial melanism. If you don't understand anything of these sort, how to write the answers, explain the two things in the two paragraph. Don't be too much, don't write too much. But industrial melanism is what? Peppered moths were found in two different colors, lighter shades, lighter varieties, and the darker varieties. When there was no industries, then the lighter ones could flourish because the darker ones were not naturally selected and was easily picked up by the prey. When industrialization happened, the trees were covered with soot, so the darker one could easily camouflage, but the lighter ones now were easily picked up by the prey. So the population of the darkest variety increased. That explains Darwin theory of natural selection. Is this clear? Any doubt? Put it in the comment box. Next chapter is population, that is increasing number and rising population. What is birth rate? What is death rate? So now birth rate, that is your natality, and death rate, that is your mortality. So what is natality? Natality is the number of live birth per thousand people of population per year. So per thousand per year is very important to be written. You cannot write it half. And live birth is also important. Mortality is the number of death per thousand of population per year. It is the mortality. Growth rate is the difference between the birth rate and the death rate. And demography is the statistical study of human population. Population density is the number of individual per square kilometer at any given time. So be very specific with these definitions. Then what are the reasons for the rapid rise of population in the world? Industrial revolution, new discoveries in the medical science field, then agriculture, that is tool making revolution, agricultural revolution, scientific and industrial revolution. You can write all these as a reason for the rapid rise in population in the world. For the rapid rise of population in your country, that is in our country, is basically illiteracy, traditional beliefs, mortality rate also you can write, but it will be better if you write desire for the male child, illiteracy, religious and the social customs, economic reasons, this would be a better answer. Then what would be the pressure of the population on the natural resources? Obviously food, water, land, everywhere the pressure will increase. The forest, energy, mineral resources, there will face the problem because of the rapid rise in population. Contraceptive methods, you can have the contraceptive method, that is to control population. You have the family planning, first of all, family welfare, the opposite red triangle, if you remember. Then you have the methods of contraceptions, the hormonal method, where certain pills are being popped in by the female, that prevent the release of the egg from the ovary. Then you have barrier method, where you have condoms for the males, diaphragms for the females, and the sperm killing agents also for the females. Then there are certain intrauterine devices. Intrauterine devices are IUDs. IUD is intrauterine device, that is Lippes loop and copper T, that is to stop fertilization by preventing implantation. Then you have surgical method. Surgical method में you have tubectomy, that is for the female. Fallopian tube, cutting of fallopian tube is tubectomy. And vasectomy, that is the cutting of the vas deferens in the male. These are the surgical methods. Kindly be very specific which gender you're talking about. Do not do the opposite, children. It really creates a big nuisance. Next, another thing is medical termination of pregnancy, MTP, full form can be asked in the examination. It is also called induced abortion. Last chapter, that is your pollution. Pollution chapter is a easy chapter. You can write on your basic knowledge and understanding. What is waste? Then what are the pollutions? Generally you have air, soil, noise, water, and also radiations. So the you should know about these. This chapter is really important. Around 8 to 10 marks question can be asked from pollution only. Okay, and since it is on the day to day happening, so more questions can be asked. Full form of CNG, CFCs, DDTs can be asked. Then radioactive pollutants, acid rain, what is Swachh Bharat Abhiyan? Swachh Bharat Abhiyan ka objectives can be asked in the exam. What is ODF? ODF is Open Defecation Free India. So that is the main objective of Swachh Bharat. Radiation may it can be asked iodine 131. Objectives can be asked in the exam. What is ODS? ODF? ODF is Open Defecation Free India. So that is the main objective of Swachh Bharat. Radiation may it can be asked iodine 131 is the chief radiation pollutant, okay, which has increased the risk of iodine cancer, that is thyroid cancer, sorry. Iodine 131 is a chief radiation pollutant that can raise the risk of thyroid cancer. Okay, so these all pollutions, their impacts can be asked in the exam. Just read the chapter very carefully. This chapter has to be very thoroughly read. Then International Ozone Day is on September 16. What is smog? Smoke plus fog is smog. Then vehicular standards like Euro Bharat vehicular standard. The questions are never asked yet, but it will be better if you go through. Swachh Bharat is very important. Is that clear? It was launched on 2nd October 2014. This date, Gandhiji's birthday, okay? So when that is 2nd October 2014. This is all about the entire biology is taken care of in this video. Go through the video, see that whichever words are mentioned, it should be thoroughly done. All the best for your examination. Happy learning, children.